While all regions are benefiting from low mortgage rates and the expectation that they'll move lower, a loosening in credit rules, increasing borrowing capacity and improved housing sentiment, the market activity is rising as New South Wales and Victoria continue to outperform most areas of Australia. I'm Fraser of Biggin & Scott Real Estate in Port Melbourne, bringing a market update as we close the book on November and head into 2020. As according to CoreLogic, Melbourne takes the best performing capital city over the 3 months to November, with positive growth at 6.4% and 2.2% annually. In October alone, Melbourne experienced the steepest increase in house prices in over 10 years. Worth noting, Sydney home values rose by 2.7% for the month of November, which makes it their largest single monthly increase in 31 years. Whilst price growth is consistent across the major cities, the recovery trend is most concentrated within the premium sector. Most evident in Sydney and Melbourne, the top quartile of the market is outperforming the broad, middle and lower market quartiles. For perspective, Melbourne's premium top quartile values were up 8.1% over the same 3-month period, compared with a 4.2% rise across the lower quartile. For the final auction weekend in October, Melbourne performed strong, finishing with a 78.3% clearance rate across almost 1,500 auctions. To prove how far we've come, over the same week last year, the auction clearance rate was significantly lower at just 42.7%. Here's case studies of two standout performances in the local marketplace. Last week, we sold 70 Clark Street, Port Melbourne, worst house in the best street, declared as unlivable by the Ministry of Housing. 3-bedroom home boasting 2 street frontages and a beautiful tree-lined location, sold under competition of 6 bidders for $995,000. 33 at 39 Esplanade East, a generous 70 square 1-bedroom apartment accompanied by a beautiful northern aspect within one of the more highly regarded buildings in Port Melbourne, sold for $732,000 at auction. With such a small pool of quality stock available for sale, competition amongst buyers is increasing, strongly supporting price growth. Due to timing and urgency, we've seen a distinctive increase in the number of properties selling prior to auction. The typical property cycle of the past has changed. I believe low stock levels are here to stay. Vendors who enjoy their home are tending to stay if the location works. Where it may have been more common in the early 2000s to move every 5 to 7 years, rising prices have also contributed to higher stamp duty taxes. $110,000 stamp duty on a $2 million purchase is likely to cover a new kitchen bathroom upgrade. Now, historically, the market in Melbourne was a local one, having more seller buyers. That proportion has dropped significantly. More buyers are now coming from overseas and interstate. First home buyers are investors, hence they do not have anything to replenish into the market. The number of new listings added to the housing market through November was up nationally 56% from the depths of winter. However, the total number of advertised properties available for sale is tracking at historic lows, down by 12.4% compared with last year, and is the lowest reading for November since 2009. The most common question I get asked, Fraser, when is the right time to buy? My response, yesterday. Melbourne's property market has gone from strength to strength. In 1966, the median house price in Melbourne was just $9,400. Values have doubled more than 6 times since then, with the median pushing through the $500,000 mark in 2010. Today, 1 in 3 Melbourne suburbs have a median house price of at least $1 million, with 90% of suburbs within 10 kilometres of the CBD beckoning $1 million median house price. If housing values continue to rise at the same rate as recorded over the past 3 months, national dwelling values could reach a record high by June 2020. With the new first home buyers incentive scheme being introduced from the 1st of January, we can also expect a healthy increase in competition within the bracket of properties below $600,000. The cancellation or deferral of many major construction projects after widespread media critique and falling demand for new developments suggests that we might again be looking at a shortage of housing in Sydney and Melbourne by 2021. We're now listing properties for sale through the first quarter in 2020, from January through March, with limited positions on our auction Saturdays in early next year. If you've been toying with the idea of selling and would like to know what your property is now worth in the current market and what you need to do to improve in order to maximise a potential sale value, get in touch with myself or David from Biggin & Scott. We'd love to provide you with our advice and recommendations. It's looking like a very exciting start for real estate in 2020. I'm Fraser, wishing you all an amazing Christmas.